Okay, today we're going to be doing the zero product property. The zero product property means that when two things are being multiplied and they're set equal to 0, one will equal 0 and the other one can be set equal to 0. This one can be set equal to 0 and this one can be set equal to 0. Because one of those has to give you 0 for it to, when you multiply, it gives you 0. So if you look, these are factors. Remember last week we were factoring? I would give you the quadratic and then you would give me the two factors. Well, these are factors of a quadratic. And how you can tell that they're factors of a quadratic is if you put it in Desmos. Everybody type this in Desmos. Not the equal to 0 part, but just the x minus 4 and the x minus 5. Okay? Because when they multiply, it gives you a quadratic. This is a quadratic, right? And these are my factors. If I do one here, x minus 4, it goes through one of the zeros. Look. Just like I showed you last week. And then the other factor goes through the other 0. See? One goes through one, the other one goes through the other 0. Okay? What number is this? 4. What number is this? 5. So check this out. When I put them equal to 0, which is what we're going to do right now, I'm going to separate them. So you're separating them on your paper too. I'm going to do x minus 4 equals 0. And I'm going to do x minus 5 equals 0. Okay? And I'm going to solve. So draw your line down the middle, down the equal sign, and solve for x. So if I want the x by itself, all I need to do is add 4 to both sides, right? Move this over, plus 4, cancel. What's 0 plus 4? What's 0 plus 4? 4. X equals 4. What about this one? What do I do to it? Move the negative 5, add it to the other side because you have to change the sign. What's 0 plus 5? 5. X equals 5 is my other 0. These are called zeros. They were found right here, 4 and 5. Okay? We're looking for zeros today. That's what we're going to do. So let's do the next one. This one right here. I'm going to set this one equal to 0, and I'm going to set this one equal to 0. So I have a plus 7 equals 0, and I have a plus 2 equals 0. Pause the video and solve. Let's see if you get the same answer that I get. Okay, so when you moved it over, and you should have done this already, when you move this over, it changes the sign to minus 7. So it cancels. When you move this over, it changes it to minus 2. And it cancels. So 0 minus 7 is negative 7. A equals negative 7 is your answer, one of your zeros. And this becomes negative 2. A equals negative 2 is your other 0. And then we check it in Desmos. You can check it in Desmos by typing the equation x plus 7, x minus 2. X plus 7, x plus 2. And then type x plus 7 first, then x plus 2, and see where they go. Those are my zeros. Those are your answers. Negative 7 was one of our answers. Negative 2 was the other answer. Okay, so you can do it by hand and you can do it in the calculator. Let's do the next one. Set them both equal to 0. So I have n plus 9 equals 0. And I have 3n minus 2 equals 0. Some of you can do this by yourself. try to do as much as you can. And when you don't know how to finish it, press play so that I can show you how to do it. Press pause right now. Okay, so you should have done this already. I'm going to change colors. When I move the 9 over, what does it become? Minus 9. So it's n equals negative 9. This one, when I move the 2 over, the negative 2 over becomes a plus 2. Bring down 3n equals 0 plus 2 is 2. And then what's the last step? Because I know you guys remember how to solve equations. What do you do last? Divide. This is multiplication, so I have to divide by 3 to get rid of the 3. Right? So then you can put this in the calculator and it gives you the same thing. N equals 2/3. Okay? You can also type the equations in Desmos. This is what it looks like. Okay? X plus 9, 3x minus 2, x plus 9 first, 3x minus 2 second. One of my solutions is negative 9. My other solution, 0.6666667, which is the same thing as 2 over 3. See, 2 over 3 gives me that number that we have right here. And if I change it to a fraction, it's just 2/3. Okay? All right, let's do the next one. Right here, set them both equal to 0. I'm going to have 2m plus 1 equals 0. Solve. And then the other one, I need more space. And then the other one's going to be 3m plus 10 equals 0 and solve. So I want you to solve both of those. Pause the video and solve. Let's work it out. Hopefully you paused the video and you did these by yourself. No sense of just copying if you don't know what you're doing. So I move the plus 1 over, change the sign to a minus 1. 2m equals negative 1, right? Last step is to divide by 2 on both sides. M equals negative 1/2. That's one of the answers. The other answer, you move the 10 over, minus 10. That gives you 3m equals 0 minus 10 is negative 10. And then divide both sides by 3 to cancel the 3. M equals negative 10 over 3. If you put that in Desmos, it won't reduce. That's the lowest that it goes. All right, so that is the answer. Those are the two answers. Okay, if I type it in Desmos, which I already did, here goes my equation together. Multiplied, it's a quadratic. That's the green one. If I put them separate, those are my two factors. And they go through the zeros, which is negative 3.333 and negative 0.5, which is, one of my solutions was negative 1/2, right? That's negative 0.5. And then my other solution was negative 10 over 3. That was that negative 3.333. Those are both of those solutions. Okay? Let's do the last two. I'll do one, you do the other one. Same thing. We're going to set this equal to 0 and this equal to 0. So 2x equals 0, solve. And x plus 11 equals 0 and solve. Okay? So I know that you know how to do this one. This one, you just move it over, change the sign. So that's negative 11. X equals negative 11 is one of my solutions. What about the 2x? There's nothing for me to move, so what do? No, you don't just put it down. You just divide. Divide by 2, divide by 2. x equals what? 0. Okay? Type it in Desmos and make sure that that's what it gives you. So here we go. I already typed mine, 2x parentheses x plus 11. That gives me that green quadratic, right? And the factors go through those two zeros. One's at negative 11, one's at 0. Okay, I typed the factors separately. Go ahead and do the last problem. Okay, you go ahead and do this one. When you finish, go ahead and start the quizzes. Let me know when you're done so I can give you the code. This is how you set up the last one. Okay? This one you just divide by negative 4, divide by negative 4. You don't need to put this in the calculator, guys. That gives you 1. Just cancel it. 1y equals 0 divided by negative 4 is 0. Over here, move the 1 over, change the sign, and then divide by 3. That'll give you the answer.